Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. My name is Najia, also known as the Alien Bird in Stories, and I am here to wrap up my September TBR. So I read about 10 books. Actually, I read 10 books in September, and it was a really good yet busy month. I wish I got to get to more books and finish some books, but as life goes, you get what you get and you don't get upset. So let's go. I started off the month with The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, and that book was just something else. Erin Blackford is the standard, one of the standards, I should say, because I think there's various levels, layers to the standard, but he's definitely up there. And Catalina, we follow her as she navigates her work world, and there's a little bit of the fake dating trope, the one bed trope, the enemies to lover trope. There's a lot of very keen details in here that I very much love. A lot of tropes that I basically crave, in love with the way it was layered and placed. It's such a moment, and I think Elena Armas did an amazing job for a debut author, an indie author at that too, under no agency. Just popped off, ate that up. I'm glad I picked it up, and it was everything and anything. A lot of people did not like the length, and because Elena Armas now is signed to an agency, there is discourse going around that the book might be shortened, but I don't really care for that, so I'm going to try to get a physical copy before then, because I read it on Kindle and I just think everything about that journey was perfect. I love the length of it. I don't want to see it shortened, so I'm gonna try to get a copy before that. The following books are all books that I have mentioned in a prior reading vlog. I believe my self-care reading vlog, part 1 and part 2. Yeah, I mentioned all of the next books and I went in depth about what I thought about them, and you can go check that out. I will leave it in the description or put like a little card right here so you can go check it out. Basically, I went on to read Heartstopper Volume 3. Absolutely love this volume. I think it touched on a lot of important things, as of in mental health, you know, sexuality, and there was even some mentions of trust and friendship and the depths of that. I think that Alice Osman did a really good job on that. I am a big fan of Alice Osman. They are amazing. I think that their work is just top notch, and I need to check out all of the other graphic novels that have come out since. I am so excited to get to the little side story that has been created for the two characters in Heartstopper. Yeah, I just really love Heartstopper. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, and as I said, I went into more depth in my reading vlog, so you can always go check that out. After I read Heartstopper, I moved on to Marvel Runaways Find Your Way Back Home Volume 1 by Rainbow Rowell, and I gave that 5 out of 5 stars. As I said, for Heartstopper, I did go in depth about this book in my vlog. One disappointment for this comic was that Gert is plus size, and the person that has been chosen to play the part for Gert is not plus size. As I said in the vlog, that person literally is a replica of Gert. However, the body is just not the same. It's hard enough trying to find a black plus size superhero in the Marvel franchise, but at least we could have got a white plus size woman, you know. It was a chance and we were robbed, so I'm just highly upset with that. I only got to see panels from the chest up portrait, I guess you can say. I mean, portrait is a little bit more stomach, but yeah, I only got to see panels from the chest up before, snippets on the Instagram, as I mentioned in the vlog. But now that I got to see Gert full panel, I'm just highly disappointed that that opportunity for plus size representation was robbed. just highly disappointed. But besides that, the volume is amazing. I think it's a really good continuation of that which was Marvel Runaways series. I think that this continuation is perfect. I love everything about Marvel Runaways. Just a whole bunch of misfits trying to find their way in the world, where their homes aren't even safe, you know? So I'm just like, it's such a good moment. But yeah, I just wish that representation was reciprocated on screen. But that's me taking up an issue with the show, not the volume that I'm talking about now. Okay, moving on. So after I picked up Marvel Runaways Find Your Way Home Volume 1, I moved on to Come Again, and this is by Nate Powell, and this is just basically a quick graphic novel where it well, not really quick because it's a little slow, but this graphic novel is heavily focused around the town that is being devoured by its secrets, and these secrets are being held within caves. But one of the biggest secrets is focused around this family where this woman is cheating on her best friend with her husband, and we just watch as that unfolds and how it consumes the two families and the town altogether. And I think it's good commentary on the social life within a town where people like to pretend where everything is good, and how pretending can always lead to a cataclysm, you know, just basically that. I think that this could have been better. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. I thought that there was so much detail that could have been put into this. I felt like the world building took away from just the amazingness of it. I think it could have been more if the world building wasn't so slow paced and taking forever. So yeah, I gave that 2 out of 5 stars. I thought it could be better. It just wasn't. So I found it to be highly disappointing, because after all of that world building came the build up, and then the build up was so quick, and it just felt like, why now? Like, why just put it so close to the end and like put it so quick paced that I couldn't fully like indulge it? Like, it just felt like it was there for no reason at that point. Like, I should have just got a volume 2. Like, And then after that, I picked up Guarding Temptation by Talia Hibbert, and I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars. It's a novella. I found that novellas may not be my thing. It's just a little bit, it's okay. I just crave a little bit more when it comes to the characters. I want to know more about them. I want to continue the story, and I guess novellas just don't satisfy that for me. I just wish I got to know more about these characters. I absolutely love them. They're such a vibe, and I think Talia Hibbert did a very good job with the storytelling. I was engrossed the whole way, captured, in love. I was vibing. It's such a vibe. I would love to get to know more about these characters, so maybe novellas aren't my thing, but it was good. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I went in more depth, maybe not so much in my vlog, so yeah, you can always check that out. After I picked up that book, I picked up Black Cloud Volume 1 on Kindle, because I had gotten Black Cloud Volume 2 from the library, and it was just so disappointing. I spent my money for no reason. I wish I could just send it back. I'm gonna see if I can, because I need my money back. It was a waste of time. I found the graphic novel to be so confusing. This is a post-war setting, and there is one person who has come to save the whole world from just allowing themselves to be walked over by this evil individual, which hasn't fully been introduced by name, but the presence has been shown throughout the graphic novel. And I love that there's a black superhero at the forefront, but it's just a little lackluster for me. It was confusing. At most times I was just like, what's even going on? And the panels in themselves was just confusing too. I couldn't follow the panels. That's usually not hard, and I found it hard to follow panels at most times because of how confusing the story was. There's just so many good things about this, but I don't think it's like in a sequence that's digestible. I don't think the sequence of this thing is digestible at all. I don't think anybody will want to continue this with such a confusing start. There are so many things that are left to be, like, you know, evaluated later in the graphic novel series, according to some reviews on Goodreads. But I don't even want to pick up volume 2. I ended up sending it back to the library without reading it because I just wasn't interested at all. So if volume 1 cannot get me into it, why would I want to find out the mysteries of volume 1 and volume 2? I just think it's a little lackluster. And I don't think I mentioned the author, but the author for that is Jason Latour, editing the Gia here. And I just realized that I didn't say the rating for Black Cloud volume 1. I gave that book 2 out of 5 stars. So after I picked up that book, I read The Inheritance of Orca Dvina by Zoraida Cordova, and I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. Actually, I gave it infinity out of 5, but that's not possible on the book rating apps. Well, anyway, that's not the point. As you can see from my tabs, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I even did a reading vlog for this where I went even more in depth on my thoughts because of the moment that I was in, you know. So you can always go check that out. So basically we follow Orchidea's family as they navigate her world post-death. And basically after they come to get their inheritance, they learn a few things about Orchidea that need to be solved. And a few people inherit these powers that help them to uncover the truth and save their grandmother, great-grandmother, great-great, you know, however it applies, from the evil that has been following her, which she has said to be bad luck. I wouldn't say so much the evil has been following her from birth, but definitely the evil found her and followed her from there on. It's definitely so magical, amazing. I described it to be magic coming off the pages. I absolutely enjoyed this, engrossed in everything that has to do with each of the characters, Mar y Mar, and I loved my favorite characters, Mar y Mar, Ray, and Rhiannon. Enjoyed. I thought this was top tier writing, amazing lyrical writing, so many memorable quotes and sentences. I just couldn't put this book down, but I had to so I could get some sleep, and then I woke back up and just got back into it and finished it. And this may be the best, and I stated that in that video, the best book of the month book I have received this year. And I think that Zoraida Cordova has amazing writing skills, and the evenness of the storytelling is top tier. But yeah, as I said, I went in depth about this in that video, so I'll just put it in the description or tag it somewhere and you can go check it out. After I read The Inheritance of Orca Dvina, I picked up Josie and the Pussycats volume 1, and that's by Marguerite Bennett, and let's get into it. I did not expect Josie and the Pussycats to have that much layers. Like, I was so surprised when I saw the layers that was in it. This felt like a whole bunch of different little stories pieced together, so that threw me off because I didn't know that was how the book was structured. I should have read it, like the description on this book, well, this graphic novel, but I didn't. So I was a little surprised when I went in and it was just a whole bunch of like stories pieced together. But yeah, there was a lot of layers. Like, there was a lot of social commentary, a lot of like discussions around mental health were definitely mentioned in this graphic novel. There was even some discussions on friendship and the depths of that. I thought it was just amazing. And there was even mentions of things like responsibility and just the baggage that comes with being an artist, and how being an artist has you perceived by the public, and putting on a mask, and just all those layers were in this. I didn't expect that. I thought that was very much placed in meticulously and perfectly, and a lot of the things said were very much needed, especially about being a Black woman in the industry. It was just top tier. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was amazing, and I think that I'm gonna pick up another volume because it was just everything that I expected it to be, because I remember Josie and the Pussycats as these fashion icons who had a lot to say about society, you know. So I was just like, this is exactly what I remember. Top tier, perfect. Okay, after I picked up Josie and the Pussycats Volume 1, I picked up Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas, and I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Let me talk about this. So we follow two pen pals. Let me refresh my knowledge. So we follow two pen pals, Ryan and Misha, as they navigate high school, and basically Misha discovers Ryan before she discovers him on accident, and Misha is not very excited with the person he has met. He's just like, this is not the person that was described in these letters. This is not my pen pal. This is not the person that I like. And Misha decides to play a little prank, you know, try to discover if Ryan is really a prissy, stuck-up little We watch them as they go through that, and then eventually we get to a romance, and a very intense one. And this new adult romance is just so top tier. I think Penelope Douglas definitely has an eye for creating very, what would be a really good way to summarize the way this is? I guess seductive, intriguing romance. I think this is really good, and I might end up finding myself picking up another Penelope Douglas book because ate this up. Penelope ate this up. I gotta say it. Penelope Douglas ate this up. I think it was really good, and I was like, listen, if I was in high school and I had a pen pal named Misha, and Misha was acting like this, and the playlist was top tier. Like there's a playlist in the beginning of the book suggested for you to listen to because those songs are mentioned in the book. I created a whole playlist of that, right? Add a little bit of my favorite songs too, because there was Bring Me to the Horizon, a little bit of Pink, you know. I was just like, okay, I know about that Pink stuff. Okay. There was a little bit of Halsey. I was like, all right, okay, Bring Me the Horizon. Okay, I see you. There was a whole bunch of other songs. Hold on. Let me find my Spotify because I created this playlist. And y'all think I'm playing? It's literally named Punk 57. And there's some Taylor Swift. There's a little bit of White Zombie, Avril Lavigne, because Skater Boy, of course, a classic. Listen, the playlist is top tier, but I added a few of like Yellow Card, you know. I added some Lauryn Hill, added some Sick Puppies, Mayday Parade. I had to. I just thought it went with the sequence, the vibes, all of that. And I had a little bit of Paramore, A Day to Remember, 3 Days Grace, you know. I had to. It was such a vibe. I listened to it while I was reading the book, and it was just such a vibe. I have never listened to music while reading a book. I have come to find it distracting because usually when I'm in a public space and I want to tune everybody out, I usually put in like music, even if it's lo-fi or something, or classical music I try to put in, but classical music would never vibe with this book, you know. So I had to put something in my ear to listen to like books like this in public, and I found it to be a little like distracting. But I was in my room and I could turn it down just a little bit so that it was playing in the background like a little vibey, you know, moment, and I was just reading and flipping pages. Such a vibe. I just loved the experience. One of the most memorable moments of last month, like literally so memorable, like just swiping and listening to a whole bunch of like rock and metal with a little bit of like pop and a little bit of rap, you know. It was a moment, like a little pop punk moment too, you know, a vibe. I think Penelope Douglas definitely has a really good playlist because I listened to almost all those songs. It was just such a vibe. Okay, so after I read Punk 57, I ended the month with Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. And this one is a little tricky for me. I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars, and I fluctuated between 2 out of 5 and 3 out of 5. since the end of last month into the beginning of October, I just fluctuated with like if I really wanted to give this 3 or 2 stars. I ended up going with 3 at the end of the day. I just felt like this is a 3 out of 5 star book. This is a debut author, and Jennifer Saint just came onto the scene, and I don't want to be a nitpicker. I don't want to sound like, you know, super mean, because I think I may have come off that way with prior debut authors, but that's just not the case. I don't hate the books, and I don't dislike the authors. I just think that there's so much potential for books like these that are debut, and they have such amazing stories and writing, and then they just don't amount to what I think they could be on the level that I think they can be. So basically we follow Ariadne and the story of her family as those stories intertwine with Dionysus and Theseus, and you know, yeah. So the labyrinth and the Minotaur, we follow that, and then how that entangles with, again, Dionysus and Theseus. And basically this is more of a female gaze, you know, giving more voice to the women lost in mythology. Love, love, love. However, I did find it hard to fall in love with the structure and the sequence of things as of how it was put together. I even found like 100 to 150 pages within the middle of the book to be a little unnecessary within the way it was paced. Yeah. And then the ending to be a little too quick paced for me. I thought it was a little too splashed in there, like a last moment thing, and it just needed to be wrapped up. It was a little too quick for me. And then a few characters were a little underdeveloped for me, because Dionysus is known to be this very nice, you know, Greek god, and then to villainize him in this but only have such a flat tone with him was just a little underwhelming. I think if you really wanted to make him a villain, commit to it, and then maybe it would have been a little more interesting for me, but I just felt like it was a little flat. And then same thing for Theseus. I thought that his villain role was a little flat. I definitely love that Jennifer Saint wanted to give a little bit more perspective on Greek gods and say that these men are probably not the heroes that they're painted out to be. Love that, but it was just a little flat to me. However, I did love that Ariadne, Phaedra, even Medusa and various other women were highlighted in this book, and it just gave an eye into how not every woman, like Hera, who was also mentioned in here, are seeing women within Greek mythology as, you know, disgusting. A lot of women turn to them for strength, and we saw Ariadne do that with Medusa and various other women within Greek mythology prior to her time, and we see her use that as just a source of power so that she can make the decisions that she makes and push on and, you know, have strength. You know, she needs it, so she's turning to strong women of the past so that she can push on and make the decisions that she has made. I wish we got to see more of the childhood. I loved getting the little snippets of it. I just wish there was more, because I just think there was a little bit too much of stretching in the middle where it was present tense and they were talking about present things happening. I just think it was a little too stretched, and maybe if we got a little more backstory of Ariadne's life, you know, and her sister Phaedra, I don't know, I would have liked it a little bit more. Not too much, but just enough. I don't know. I think the book needed to be a little more balanced for me. I found it to be a little unbalanced. But overall, for a debut author, I think Jennifer Saint did an amazing job with this book. I think her writing is something to commend. Oh my gosh, there's so many quotable moments in this book. So many lines that I think are definitely gorgeous. Her writing is just very good for a debut author, and I definitely want to pick up another book by Jennifer Saint. I know that Jennifer Saint is coming out with another book, Electra, I believe, and I cannot wait to read it. As I said, there's just so many unbalanced things for me in this book, and 3 out of 5 isn't that bad. I found it to be very enjoyable at the end of the day. I just I just wish for more. I just wish for more. A lot of books that I put on my TBR are still in progress or just haven't been picked up at all. As I said, it was a busy month, so yeah. Thank you all so much for watching my video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I have my social media links down below. I started a Bookstagram because I like posting like book content here and there on my like main Instagram, but I just want a place where I can post it all the time. So I started a Bookstagram, and I have a link down below to my Amazon wishlist if you want to support my channel. I have links down below to support POC movements and the India and Vietnam COVID crisis. I always leave the names of the books down below with the links to them. I'll catch you guys in another video. Okay, bye.